Welcome to Corewisdom, the channel for wisdom, worth, choice, and growth. All right, it's been a while. I'm sorry that it has taken so long to get started with another English version this year, but now I'm here. So let's get started. We are already well into this new year, and we are about to lay behind us the first month. And I hope that everybody has had a good transition into the new year. And as most of you probably know, the first period of a new year, it can be somewhat turbulent because there is a lot of old stuff that we are going to put behind us, and we have to find our footing as we enter a new year. So there's a lot of things that needs to fall into place, and that period can be somewhat turbulent for many of us because, as I was saying, we have to put behind us the old and be ready for whatever new things is to come. And in that matter, there is a thing that has been on my mind in according to um, finding a footing in turbulent times. And that is something that I like to refer to as the law of substitution. Many of you may already be known to this principle, or maybe not. I don't know. It's not something that it's talked a lot about, but I'll try to explain what I mean by this and why I think it's beneficial for us to be aware of this principle. The law of substitution is, well, it's easy theoretical, but it's maybe not so easy to imply in the practical life. But if we are able to do so, I think it can help us a lot to find a way out of problematic times or conflicts. So the law of substitution simply means that whenever you are in a negative state or you are in a challenge that is affecting you negatively and negative emotions tends to surface, I want to encourage you to use this principle that you can take something positive and replace with a negative emotion. And I know that that's a lot easier said than done, because when you are either depressed or you have anxiety or you are scared or you are angry, it's not very easy to dig up a positive emotion and imply that into the situation. But if you are able to do so, it will make your transition out of the negative situation much smoother and easier. So, how can we go about turning a negative situation or emotion into something positive? For me, it's about finding something that automatically uh, brings joy, something that makes you happy, or someone or something that you love, or a situation that you are grateful of. And for example, if you are in a situation where you are scared, you have a lot of anxiety, and you're wondering what is going to happen now, how can I get out of this? And things might seem very dark, and it can be very hard to see a way out. The best thing you can do is to start by implying a positive feeling, and that is bring up the memory of something or someone that you love very dearly. It can be your partner, it can be a pet, it can be a family or a family member, or it can be something that you are looking forward to, or it can be a very good situation in your past that brings a lot of positive feelings up for you when you start to think about it. And try to implement these feelings into the current situation. I can use myself as an example. If there is something bothering me or something that are making me insecure or scared or angry, I automatically try to figure out what is it that is important to me and what makes me feel good. What is the very thing that makes my heart and my whole being bubble up with love and joy. And the first thing I think about is my cat, because you probably know by now I'm a cat mom, and my cats, they are everything to me. So if I can bring about in myself the love I have for my cat in a negative situation, it will balance out the negative. The first thing I notice is that this scale that was heavily on the negative is starting to balance slowly when I think about my cat. It makes my heart burst with love, and it makes me grateful, and it just brings out all the positive emotions I have inside. And as soon as the situation are starting to get neutralized, it will transist into love and positively emotions and positive feelings. And that was just an easy example of how the law of substitution works. And you can imply this at anything in your life, but you have to be aware, and and you have to be sure that you manage to bring in these positive feelings, because it's not enough just think about something, because that makes the whole process sort of forceful, and you're not supposed to force this. Then it will be artificial for you. You have to really feel it inside in order to have it work in your favor. So that is something I encourage you to try. And it may be very hard the first times, and it may feel off when you're trying to do it. But I assure you, if you just keep on trying, eventually it will come very natural for you. So I can I don't know if I have any other examples to bring to you guys, but I think you know what I mean by this, and I think you all know where I want to go with this. But don't be discouraged if it's hard for you to do in the first times. Just keep on trying, and this is also parallel to something I was saying before Christmas in one of my videos. Uh, it's about asking yourself, where is the love in this moment? Or where is God in this moment? Whatever you choose to use. But try to find that one thing in a challenging moment that can make you transist those feelings. And It's not that you're not supposed to acknowledge that thing can be challenging or thing can be hard, and you're not supposed to ignore your negative feelings. But as soon as you can acknowledge that they're there, they're trying to teach you something, and then you can move on. But be sure to explain to yourself that you are aware that you have these feelings because they are going to teach you something, they're going to show you something, and then be grateful. And when you're grateful, you can start working on a different outcome. But I know it's hard. It's like walking into a dark room or walking into a new territory with blindfold on your eyes. You have no idea where you're going, and you can't see the footing ahead of you. But you have to trust. You have to trust that every step you take will keep you grounded. That every step you take will keep you erected as you go. And sometimes we have to move into new and difficult terrains with nothing more than our intuition to guide us. And that can be very hard, especially if you're not used to let yourself be guided by your intuition, if you're not used to using your intuition. But everybody can train up their own tools regarding their own intuition, because it is almost like building a muscle. If you never used it before, it will feel heavy, it will feel hard, it's easy to doubt the process. But the more you do this, the more this muscle will be used to get used to uh, being worked on, and eventually things will feel more and more natural. So it's all learning by doing, and it's important to be trustful with yourself. And sometimes we also have to allow ourselves to trust others, especially in those times when it's extremely hard to trust yourself and you don't know how to trust yourself, and you feel both blindfolded and deaf and everything. In those moments, you can always uh, be open to let someone else lead you. And of course, that is also a trust issue, because if you're not used to trust people, that could lead to well, it means that you have to work on that as well. And sometimes it might be easier to learn to trust someone else than yourself. But I think that both can be learned and both can be developed, but you have to start somewhere. So if you find it hard to trust yourself, try to give that trust to someone else and let them lead you, and feel that you feel safe. And when you feel that that is working for you, then you can begin to work on your own trust to yourself. But this is all about experience. And if you're too scared to let this be a part of your experience, you will be stuck. You won't get any further. When you have, say for example, that you have anxiety for hospitals or doctors or as in my case, I have I'm really scared of the dentist, but sometimes we have to give it a try. And the more you try, the more you can experience that the actual outcome is different than the one you had in your mind. Because when you're scared of something, it's very easy to sort of imagine the worst case scenario. As my dentist always tells me, she says, I am creative when it comes to possible outcomes. And I think that is something that uh, is the case for many of us as we are scared of things. We tend to get very, very creative, and we produce all sort of different scenarios in our heads. And sometimes, or very often maybe, those scenarios get to decide if we do something or not. But every time we are willing to let go and try, either to trust ourselves or someone else, those scenarios get proven wrong. And the more those scenarios get disproved, the more proof you get that things can work out and everything can be okay. But you have to be willing to be open that your potential outcome or potential scenario can be disproven. You have to be willing to let it be disproven, or else your scenarios will dictate your every decision, and you get controlled by fear, and you get controlled by your own imagination. There is only one way out of that circle, and you have to be willing to prove yourself wrong. So that was just a little, what can I call it? Maybe a small challenge for you guys. If you are scared of something, or if you feel like you're stuck in a negative loop, trust yourself, give yourself the chance to be proven wrong, so to speak. Be willing to let go. Be willing to open the door for other possibilities, positive possibilities. Things can be neutralized, and things can be proven for the better if you only dare to be open for it and dare to try. Because eventually, that's how we evolve, both spiritually and emotionally and physically. That is the way we develop each other and evolve. So, that was my little encouragement to you today. And I hope that everyone is having beautiful, beautiful days, no matter what you are doing or no matter where you are. And before I switch off, I want to remind you guys to remember to subscribe to our channel and press like if you like our content. And stay tuned for the next videos. So, light and love your way.